Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here with the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. Continuing our look at the college recruiting classes for 2019, we've run through the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12. Shooter, now it's time for the Big 12.
Yeah, crushing that Katy Trail. Texas, Oklahoma, up into the Midwest for a lot of these teams. Here we go.
Excellent. Let's start off with Baylor. Obviously, lots of talent to be found in the state of Texas, but Baylor also ventured outside of state lines for some. But at the top, you got Will Rigney, a right-hander from Midway High School in Texas.
Yep.
Really good look for him this summer that I saw. 90 and 94. I saw a swing and miss breaking ball, so that's a big arm. You're going to be worried about him for the draft for sure, but if somehow he can end up on campus, that's obviously a huge steal. But then Jared McKenzie, an outfielder from Round Rock High School, going to get a little bit of some draft looks, I think, but he's one of my favorite players just because of his ability to control the barrel. He can really hit from the left side, and he showed that not only at area code games, but throughout the fall as well.
Yeah, by the time he's out and done there in Baylor and Waco, other teams are not going to want to be facing him anymore. They're going to be very thankful that he graduates or gets drafted.
Yeah.
But showing off Coach Rodriguez's California roots, Cody Freeman coming over from Etiwanda High School there in Southern California. We watched him at the Boris Classic last year. He was a stud all over the field, high energy, making plays, on base, stealing bags. He does it all. Going to be a really nice college player. Nicholas Balsano from Colleyville Heritage, stacked program. That dude bangs. So good class being put together here by Baylor.
Excellent. Now shifting up north to Kansas, this is a pretty strong class that you like.
Yeah, Kansas did a great job. KU coming in. Logan Glass out of Oklahoma throws 100 miles an hour from the outfield, but runs it into the low 90s on the bump. Nice little slider being put together, and he can also hit. So a two-way guy like that to come in and be to really help the program progress over the next few years is big. He'll have some draft implications coming at him. Zach Cox, an in-state kid who, from the future games, I think one year he went 9 for 9 at the future games. So he knows how to get on base. He can get some hits. And then they added a late piece from Strong Island in New York, Long Island, Luke Napolitano, third baseman, about 6'1", 200 pounds. Good ad for them there, potential middle-of-the-order type bat. But KU, good job here.
And then their in-state rivals, Kansas State, going through a little bit of a transition, obviously, with the coaching staff. So this is a little smaller class than usual.
Yeah, they got Elijah Jackson, a shortstop out of California. The shortstops in California, they just grow on trees. So it's nice to have a guy like that coming in. Coach Hughes just got the job this summer, so I expect the next few classes to be a bit bigger for Kansas State. But that California there could be some more California guys coming to K-State. They've had some success with them in the past.
Yeah, they certainly have. So shifting now to Oklahoma with the Sooners. This guy, probably not going to end up on campus. Kid by the name of Bobby Witt Jr., currently the #1 high school prospect in the country. Likely top 5 pick. The chances of the Sooners getting him are basically 0. So, but obviously, big recruit for them. If by some miracle he can wind up on campus. However, looking at within the state, but also still in the infield, you got Logan Kohler, a third baseman, who really stood out this fall for our guy Toby Bicknell in Texas. I saw him in Jupiter, and I like what I see. It's a short, strong left-handed swing, moves athletically over at third base, so they'll probably be sweating him a little bit with the draft, but certainly a guy that could end up on campus and be a pretty strong middle-of-the-order left-handed bat for the Sooners. But then out of the powerhouse of Owasso, they got Connor Beekler.
Yeah, and if Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't end up making the campus, which, hey, you know what, Rody? He still could. His dad is a Sooner. He grew up a Sooner. So you never know. He can make it. You want to bet on that? But if not, Connor Beekler, if he makes it to campus, is going to be another really good one. He's a small frame kid, but he can really run, switch hits, and can pick it at shortstop. And you touched on it. He's from Owasso, an absolutely powerhouse program. So he comes in expecting to win, which will really be exciting for the Sooners to have. Davis Heller is about 6'8", right-hander. If it all clicks for him, you're looking at a premier Friday night guy. So he's out of Arizona. He's a really good one for them. But this class goes on. Caden Morton out of Texas, potential two-way guy. Outside of Bobby Witt Jr., there's a lot to like in this class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there really is. Looking at their rivals, the Cowboys of Oklahoma State, one of my favorite guys at the top, right-hander Bryce Osmond, who I think has a chance to really kind of take a step forward in the spring and play himself into the first round if everything kind of falls right for him. So the chances of them getting him aren't real high, but a very projectable arm, can pitch in the low 90s, shows a breaking ball that has a chance to be an above-average pitch.
Yeah,
and on top of that, just a really good athlete, potential two-way guy as well. But then if you look more at the top here, you talk about some really good pitching. Got Cale Davis, again, a future games guy that really broke out there a couple of years ago. Strong, physical right-hander. And then Bodie Rascone, again, a Texas guy that really stood out this fall like Logan Kohler. Loose, athletic left-handed arm was good for Toby Bicknell when he saw him, and then for me and Jupiter. So the pitching at the top of this class is pretty good.
Yeah, and Coach Rob Walton does a great job with those pitchers, so it's no surprise that they're bringing in some big-time guys. Although, like you said, the draft is going to have serious implications. They'll be sweating a little bit in June. But Blake Robertson's a corner infielder. We saw at area code again. Big, strong dude, has the power that can really play in the Big 12. He's out of the state of Oklahoma. JT Mounts, an outfielder who can absolutely fly. This dude floats on the diamond, top of the order type bat out of the state of Texas. This is a great class for the Cowboys, especially if it stays together after the draft.
Certainly. Now heading down to Austin for the University of Texas, the Longhorns. Right at the top, we got Brett Big Bat Beatty, third baseman. Whether or not he stays there is still to be determined, but doesn't really matter. That left-handed bat, we've been talking about some big left-handed bats in this 2019 class, and Beatty is right at the top when it comes to it. Big power, solid at area codes. I mean, he was taking easy swings, and the ball was just flying out to left center.
Rody, you know how much I like Beatty. I think he's going to be one of the top draft picks coming up in June just because that power really plays. He's a good athlete as well. I mean, talking about good athletes, Trey Faltine, two-way guy, who on the mound is, 88 to 91 or so, has that athleticism, the room to grow, but you like him even more at the plate.
Yeah, I do. I really like him as a hitter. I certainly think he is serviceable on the mound, but I think his future is as a hitter. Every time I've seen him, I've seen a loose swing, and I've seen him perform and find the barrel. So I really like what he can do. And, because of that athleticism, you can move him around the field a little bit. You can play him in the outfield. There's some development needed if he's going to stay on the infield. But that athleticism, he's a utility guy. So he certainly, if he gets to Texas, there's a lot of roles that he could fill.
Yeah, and then you're talking about big right-handers that Texas always seems to have who throw hard. Andre Duplantier, who has a really nice breaking ball, good-looking athlete, high ceiling. Will Swope. Those type guys who can come in and really elevate their game over time because they've brought in some good classes in the last couple of years. Those are the big arms you expect out of Texas. Jared Southern, really hard-throwing right-hander. And then a guy out of California that you really like.
Yeah, Peter Hansen, a left-hander. It's not big velo. It's like 82 to 85, but he can really spin it. I mean, we're talking about like 3,000 RPMs on his breaking ball. So he's the kind of guy that, he's even despite, the velocity, he's going to get looks for the draft because of his ability to spin it. If he finds some velo in the spring, Texas might be sweating a little bit, but chances are he gets to campus and could really develop into a really strong left-handed arm for them. So,
and then a couple more that I want to throw in just because they help a program over 4 years. But Brennan Dixon's just an absolute winner. Second base, third base, outfield. He's going to be on the field. He helps a team win. Colton Rathjen's an outfielder, can absolute float from Episcopal outside of Houston. So he's won for 4 years. Later on in his career that could play. And then Austin Wallace, left-handed pitcher, pitchability guy, big frame, who I think later on down the line is going to be a guy that in a regional, in a super regional, is going to have to get some big wins there in Austin.
Certainly will. So now taking a look in Fort Worth at Texas Christian, or TCU, the Horned Frogs. We were just talking about, pitching at the top of Oklahoma State's class. Look at TCU. Quinn Priester, Riley Cornelio, Jacob Metter. I mean, those three guys are some pretty premium right-handed arms. Priester and Cornelio have a chance to really blow up in the spring and probably not make it to campus. Jacob Metter, sure, you and I were watching the live stream of Team USA against Panama. It was a really tight game. They brought Jacob Metter in early in that game out of the bullpen, and he did exactly what you and I expect him to do for the next several years. Throw strikes, pitchability, move the ball around, spin that breaking ball, and just compete.
Yeah, or as they called him on the Panamanian broadcast, a Miador. That's what they're calling him when he came in for the close. But yeah, he's a winner. We've talked about it for a while now. Attacks the zone, higher spin rate fastball, gets those swings and misses, but is not scared of anything. Mm-hmm. And Quinn Priester, good chance that he gets taken higher in the draft, but it's a high ceiling Friday night type guy. Mm-hmm. So he's one you want to get to campus. Riley Cornelius, probably my pick to click in the spring. It's electric stuff when it's on in Colorado. Another weekend guy, program changer type. But even deeper into the position players, Curtis Byrne out of Missouri, big, strong catcher with a powerful right-handed bat. Sam Thompson, TCU dipped into Oklahoma to get Thompson out of Owasso. There's still a program there, and Thompson can really handle the bat. I think later on he's going to be a mainstay in that 3-hole and the 2-hole, top of the order, where he can just spray the ball all around and develop some more power. But a good class, hopefully it stays together. But if not, there's still some depth to it.
Certainly is. So now taking a look at Texas Tech, and there's a couple of guys in this class that I really like. One, they got really late in the process. I mean, I'm talking about within the last month, and that's Michael Harris out of Georgia. Left-hander / outfielder. I think he can handle the bat. There's a little bit of pop in there. But then he gets on the mound, and he looks pretty good there too. Can spin a breaking ball. Pitches in the high 80s. He's athletic enough. You think some velocity is going to come in down the line. So definitely a legitimate two-way guy at the next level, especially getting one that late in the process. And then Darrell Hernandez. He's from America's High School out in El Paso, Texas. So doesn't get a ton of looks, but he fortunately for him, he was at area code games. Moves around pretty well at shortstop.
Yes,
the bat looks like there's some life in there. So if Texas Tech can hold on to Harris and Hernandez on top of what else they have in this class, that's a really good haul for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, and the Red Raiders, they recruit all over. They got guys from Georgia, they got Oklahoma, even up to New York. But Nate Rombach, in-state, big, powerful catcher with some pop in the back. Kyle Westfall, who's at IMG Academy in Florida, originally from Ohio. He can absolutely move. 6'5" runner, maybe even 6'4" runner. So top of the order type guy. One of the catchers that I really like is Bo Willis. Got to watch him last year. He was catching at Magnolia, Adam Klopfenstein, playing with tons of scouts around him, so he may have some draft talk for him. But he handles this pitching staff really well, does a good job behind the dish. And then a possible sleeper in this class is Drew Mackey, who shined at the Future Games a couple years ago out of Missouri. Good-looking athlete, long and lean, going to fill out there in Lubbock. So good class for Texas Tech.
And wrapping up the Big 12, we take a look at the Mountaineers of West Virginia, the alma mater of our guy, Mark Dvorak. It's a little shout-out there for Devo. But West Virginia, right at the top, looking at one of the best hitters in the class in Matt McCormick. I mean, where this guy plays on the field is to be determined, but I can tell you right now, his position is batter's box. This guy absolutely mashes, and he doesn't care what is on the mound. He doesn't wear batting gloves. He doesn't take dry hacks. He just jumps in there and just mashes baseballs.
Little spit in the hands, rub it in the dirt. He's he just hammers balls all field. His numbers have been crazy in a really good high school league for the last couple of years. I know West Virginia's really hoping he gets the campus to provide some depth in there in the middle of the order and drive some home runs for him. But even deeper than that, Justin Kohler out of Florida is a right-hander who I love. Low 90s fastball. He can spin it, but he's mean on the mound and he attacks hitters. It's what you get in a blue-collar kid at West Virginia and Morgantown. Hunter Rosenbaum out of Wisconsin shined at our Future Games. Hard-throwing, big-body kid, which is what Steve Sabins and the staff Steve Saban's the recruiting coordinator, along with Coach Mazey and the staff, are getting after and going after there in West Virginia, getting those big body, hard throwing guys. And then one more of my favorite guys I've seen the last couple of years, Tyler DiMartino, who just steps into the box. He's from Maryland, and that bat and the barrel just whip through the zone. And you know what? For a guy who's not that big, it jumps off the barrel, and he will get on. It doesn't matter how hard you're throwing, he's going to rip you.
Excellent. So there's your look at the Big 12 2019 recruiting classes. Up next, we will take a look at some of the, as you call them, Shooter,
Power majors.
Power majors. Some of the non-Power 5 conference teams that have notable recruiting classes. So be sure to look out for that. But as always, for Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Brody. This was Coffee and Curveballs. And until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.